You know, at some point we have to ask the question, is General Motors waiting until 2027 when they revamp their V8s to get rid of this issue? This is Ashley Gentry. This is her second 6.2 liter in this Escalade.
It ain't like it's not the second one that's done it.
I know. I should have expected it, but I had high hopes for her. She made it 2,400 miles.
She made it 2,400 miles. The second engine made it 2,400 miles.
Past that 40-mile marker, we should be okay.
The last one's like 40 or 60 miles, I think.
Yeah, have a listen to this thing.
Get in there and fire it up. You hear it? It might start this morning. It might see if it does open. I want to see if it's a rod or if it's That's definitely the bottom end.
That's definitely the bottom end. Yeah, that's coming right from the source, the crankshaft. And GM, even with the new Duramax, the new little 3-liter Duramax, this is a 2025 Duramax, guy has 4,500 miles being towed. And you know, the older Duramax seemed to be a little bit more reliable. People thought those were great, and they didn't have the problems the newer ones were having after 2025. I've been collecting this NHTSA data on my website now and putting it into this nice little graph form so you guys can search it. And if you guys think that the 2026s have it all figured out for some reason, not buying it. Here's another 2026 GMC Sierra 1500 Denali Ultimate. Gotta be what, $100,000 truck, has the 3-liter Duramax in it, 6,755 miles, 77 days of ownership for this poor fella. And he says his was detected that he had too much play in the crankshaft, P06DD code, and he needs a brand new engine. There's another 2026 listed there. It also needs a brand new engine, doesn't say which engine it needs, probably the 6.2 or the 3.0 diesel. And this is pretty darn good evidence. I see this over and over again, even with the Toyota recalls. So look at this. This guy had his engine replaced. So he had a full replacement at a GM dealer under recall for his 6.2. Now he says the replacement engine has also failed in the same manner as the original engine. I mean, come on, GM. You know, this complaint is filed January 3rd, 2026. I think there's probably no way that General Motors has fixed this problem. We're seeing the replacement engines with the same problem. Come on. Toyota's probably just like, thank you for the gift, GM, because really General Motors recalls, the problem with the 6.2 and then the problems with their transmissions, it affects way more vehicles than Toyota's. And GM, I think this issue is just going to continue to blow up until their new platform comes out. I just don't see it getting better in the complaint data. This is current model year stuff. December 15th, guy was driving down Logan Canyon in Utah. He had a reduced acceleration message on the dash. Sure enough, got it to the dealership. The service manager said does need a new engine. Now here's another 2026 model year Silverado. At least it's filed under the 2026 NHTSA reports. Driving on a single lane road, 30 to 35 miles an hour. He said, without any warning, the engine began to make noise like it was eating rocks. Smoke began billowing out of the tailpipe. Sure enough, the existing engine had seized. It had 4,190 miles. So, I mean, hey, maybe these Tundra guys are onto something. At least we haven't seen this many dead 2026 Tundras yet. It's kind of frightening to see the GM side. And there is one last 2026 model year down there. Purchased a 2026 ZR2 with the 6.2 liter, 511 miles. Said it had a misfire in cylinder number 8. They took it into the dealership, apparently gave him a different truck. He said that one needed extensive repairs. My guess is that 6.2 was dead in that one or on its way out. And then in typical fashion, this is on November 24th. I mean, all these are just in the last month of failures. 2020 RST, 85,000 miles. Lifter failure. And look, if you don't have the engine problems, you're probably going to have a transmission problem with the valve body on these General Motors. This guy is on his second valve body. He goes to the dealership, has the service manager go for a ride with him, and they confirm that it was shifting terribly on the second valve body and it has whining. So the crazy part is these guys keep the truck and then they just reset the computer and have the transmission relearn itself and then send the guy on his way. And he said it shifts worse now than it did before. I mean, at this point, probably got to get like a next gen valve body upgrade, but you have to wonder, is the damage already done to the transmission? And this guy's in the heavy duty side of the house. Same thing goes. All these guys, P0747 codes, they're all having valve body failures still. This poor guy, Christopher, he thought he had a transmission problem. 2022 Denali 6.2 liter with the 10-speed, 70,000 miles. He said he took it to the dealer, thought he had a transmission problem. His engine had seized, brand new engine being put in, covered under the recall. But the question is, how long will the new engine last? I wouldn't trust it. And it seems like with these 6.2s, even the ones that people think they're in the clear, they have oil consumption problems. This guy's got a 21.62 over 50,000 kilometers, has a lot of oil burn going on. And it's just funny to see and kind of sad to see all the comments of people having similar experience. One guy there, Patrick, in the comments says, 2025 Duramax, he made it 50,000 miles. Now he needs a new engine. Oil consumption of 2 quarts between changes. Here's another guy, January 8th, his 2026 to 73,000 miles, same problem. He changes his oil at 50% of the oil life on the meter, and it's about a quart low. So oil consumption becoming a big problem if the engines aren't dead already. And you can just kind of keep walking back down the line. This guy says, anyone know why my truck slams into gear really hard when it downshifts around 70 to 80 miles an hour, 85 miles an hour? It doesn't do it at lower speeds. 2018 5.3 with the 8-speed, 113,000. So I think this is just going to be one of those issues where General Motors, you know, it's what Nate says all the time. You're going to get, if you're lucky, 100, 150,000. If you change the fluids religiously and the filters, you might get a little bit more. I always have to bring a little remember when into the GM videos. Remember when they used to build these 2011 5.3, even those had cylinder shutoff, which is crazy. 350,000 miles on this one. Says it doesn't burn a drop of oil between changes. This guy bought his 2003 1500 HD new. He said it's really closer to 280,000 on his cluster. His cluster wasn't working for 3 years. 6 liter, the old 6 liter single cam, 2 valve, simple. And the guy right below him, Nathan, 2003 401,000 miles. Another guy down there, his 2000 has 664,000 miles. What do you think the odds are of these newer trucks hitting that kind of mileage? There's another one from Zach, 322,000 miles on a 2012 5.3. He's owned it its whole life, been a good truck. Another guy, 455,000. So I think nowadays the benchmark has just changed a little bit. People hit 100,000 miles now and they're like, yeah, I won the lottery. 2024 engines, let's take a look here. And the reason why I do these videos too is to warn people, like, don't buy it just because it got a new engine and you think, oh, sweet, I'm getting a new engine. Or buy one and say, well, it's cool because I'm going to get a second engine with this thing. A lot of the time, that's not going to work out for you. Check this guy out. This one he bought as a pre-owned, so this was 4,700 miles on it. The reason it has 4,700 miles on it is because the first owner had the engine blow. There's another one, catastrophic engine failure. On the 5th of January 2026, going home from work on the interstate, got a message that the power declined and he drove carefully. Ended up being a dead engine. This is with a Duramax, December 29th. A loud noise coming from the rear of the engine. Then they took it into the dealer and confirmed that the thrust bearing failure had occurred. That's one of the 3-liter Duramax engines. So look, that's why I tell people, don't buy the 6.2, don't buy the 3-liter Duramax right now. The 5.3 is iffy. You're going to have probably lifter failures later on, but at least the 5.3 is better than those two right now. Really, the 2.7 and the 5.3 are maybe safe through warranty. I mean, geez. And if you want to view these complaints for yourself, go to thecarguyonline.com. It's pretty easy. You don't even have to log in. You just select your vehicle, your make, model, and you can find all of these complaints. Here's another one, December 27th, 2025, 6.2 liter, 5,624 miles, blown engine. Not confirmed that it's an engine failure, but it probably is. He had a 2025 6.2, got the oil change, tire rotation done. He said it sounds like a lot of metal and metal screeching sounded really bad from the engine. So who knows? Maybe a tech forgot to put the oil in, but probably not. Now flipping over to the GMC side, the Sierra 1500 2025 truck started with a knocking noise in the engine that developed into a grinding noise. Service department told him it's got 13,000 miles and it said the entire engine needs to be replaced. Excessive play in the crankshaft. Another 2025, 3,200 miles on it, 6.2 liter engine. There's another one, engine seized and locked up on October 15, 2025, GMC Sierra Denali, 3,100 miles. Now, keep in mind, a lot of these, they were recalled from 2021 to 2024. So the 2025s were supposed to pass inspection and they weren't necessarily needed to be under the recall. My theory and most people's theory on that is that they didn't want to be told that they can't sell the 2025s anymore. So they only include 2021 through 24s because most of the 24s have been sold. See, if the dealerships have a 2025 under an engine recall, they actually can't sell it. So that's why a lot of these manufacturers don't want to include current or leftover model year trucks in their recalls, and they wait a year to do that. Hey folks, before you buy vehicles, go check this out. Either use my site, thecarguyonline.com, or Car Complaints, some site that shows you an aggregate of all this data so you can maybe just be a little bit more informed before you buy so that you don't get yourself into something. I see people just really upset after they find out all these issues are occurring and they just didn't do the research beforehand. General Motors, I don't think they fixed the problems. I think the Duramax, the 3-liter Duramax, the 6.2, I honestly don't think they're fixed yet. I wouldn't touch them. And I think this issue is going to be bigger than the Toyota issue because they sell more trucks than Toyota. And it's just going to keep going on for the next year or so. Thanks for watching. Till next time.